1. Müller-Lyer. 2 lines of equal length. Easy. Now, place opposite arrows at the ends, and suddenly one appears to grow. This is the Müller-Lyer illusion, described in 1889. Our brain reads angles as depth cues. It interprets the corner of a room, the edge of a box, the distant edge, and it corrects the world on its own. Why does this matter? Because perception isn't a ruler, it's a statistical guess. In architecture and design, small angles change the sensation of width, height, and distance. Storefronts, facades, even interfaces use this to guide your eye without asking permission. What almost no one knows is that the power of illusion varies across cultures. People less exposed to environments full of straight lines and rigid corners tend to fall less for the trick. Curved nature, less carpenter bias. And here's the final blow. Even knowing the lines are the same, the impression doesn't go away. Explaining doesn't remove the bug, it just makes you a conscious user. Breathe, compare, measure. Your brain will still cheat. If still lines have fooled you, wait until we get perspective itself back on track. 2. Ponzo Illusion. 2 equal rectangles, identical, but place them on train tracks in perspective, and the top one appears larger. This is the Ponzo Illusion from 1911. Our brain uses context to calculate size. If something is farther away, but occupies the same space on the retina, it must be larger, right? Wrong. This trick is the same one that makes the moon appear giant on the horizon. It's not the moon that grows, it's the frame that deceives. Domes, buildings, even advertising posters have already exploited this to manipulate scale and prominence. Fun fact, even animals fall for the Ponzo illusion. Experiments have shown that pigeons and monkeys also misjudge sizes during the Ponzo illusion. This suggests the bug isn't just cultural, it's biological. The cruelest detail? The deeper the setting appears, the stronger the illusion hits. In other words, the more realistic, the more vulnerable you become. And if lines and perspectives already distort the truth, wait until simple circles start lying. 3. Ebbinghaus. A circle in the middle. Around it, other circles. When the neighboring circles are large, the central one appears smaller. When they're small, it appears larger. This is the Ebbinghaus illusion from 1898. It's simple, yet powerful. Our brain never judges sizes in a vacuum, only by comparison. Impact. This illusion isn't just a curiosity for psychologists. It's been used to study the development of perception in children. Research shows that the effect is weaker in them, as if the brain hadn't yet learned to rely so heavily on context. Unexpected curiosity. It also affects sports. Basketball players who shoot more free throws report perceiving the rim as larger, almost like Ebbinghaus applied to real life. The brain manipulates visual confidence to boost performance. If innocent circles can already sabotage your sense of size, wait until you see brick walls start to move. 4. Cafe wall. A brick wall, black and white rows, between them, gray lines. At a quick glance, the lines appear to be tilted, creating a strange zigzag, but measuring them reveals the truth. They are all perfectly parallel. This is the cafe wall illusion, described in the 1970s. The brain short-circuits because it tries to compensate for contrast and edges simultaneously. The transitions between light and dark create micro-deviations that vision interprets as tilt. It's as if your eye is correcting an error that doesn't exist. Fun fact. The illusion got its name because it was noticed in a coffee shop in Bristol, England. Tiles on the wall confused customers who swore someone had messed up the grout. Spoiler, the bricklayer wasn't to blame. And if stationary bricks already seem to slip, get ready. The next trick shows colors that are the same, but swear they are different. 5. Checker shadow. A checkerboard, a shadow cast by a cylinder. Two squares, A and B. One appears dark, the other light, but they are exactly the same color. This is the checker shadow illusion, created by Edward Adelson in 1995. Our brain doesn't see colors in isolation. It automatically corrects to compensate for light and shadow. Thus, the square within the shadow is interpreted as brighter than it actually is, to maintain the logic of the board. The striking detail is that even artificial vision computers, before deep learning, failed at this. The trick is so powerful that even machines confused context with reality. Extra curiosity. If you cut out the squares and place them side by side, the effect disappears. This shows that the illusion only exists in context. Without the stage, there's no magic. And if even static squares defy the logic of colors, expect to see a grid that creates ghost spots that don't exist. 6. Hermann Grid. A simple black grid, horizontal and vertical lines with white dots at the intersections. But look closely, and gray spots begin to appear where none exist. This is the Hermann Grid illusion, described in 1870. The effect comes from so-called ganglion cells in the retina, which perform lateral inhibition. They amplify light contrasts to enhance the prominence of edges. The problem is that this mechanism creates false shadows at intersections, as if the eye were inventing extra pixels. Fun fact: when the grid is slightly distorted into a curve, the spots disappear. This is because the trick only works at right angles. A simple detail completely changes perception. If a grid already creates ghosts out of nothing, imagine when the brain decides to invent entire shapes that simply don't exist. 7. Kanizsa Triangle. 3 cut-out Pac-Mans, 3 open lines, and suddenly a perfect white triangle appears in front. Except there's no triangle at all. This is the Kanizsa Triangle illusion, created by Gaetano Kanizsa in 1955. The brain loves to close gaps. This mechanism, called perceptual closure, helps us recognize objects even when they're partially hidden. It's why you can read words with missing letters or identify a face behind a grate. The striking detail is that the illusory triangle not only appears real, it appears brighter than the background. It's an invented glow, as if the mind painted with extra light just to satisfy its obsession with order. This illusion helped cement Gestalt psychology, the idea that we see the whole before the parts. We don't see individual shapes, but organized patterns. The brain is less a camera and more a creative editor. See you in the next video. If we're already inventing triangles out of thin air, get ready. In the next one image can be 2 at the same time, and it all depends on how you look at it.